What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to channel Anderzen. Today we're going to be working on doing the AC delete, and I'll also give you guys a little bit of an update on the shifter situation. So starting with the whole shifter mechanism debacle, here is the shorter one that I have. Here is the modified crossfire one that I had that you guys remember from the original swap. And I ended up keeping the one that we transplanted in there, which was out of a W203 sedan. Like you guys saw, it was a tiny bit too long from the back, so we ended up clearancing the chassis hole by maybe 1/4 of an inch. And the big issue with that was with the Delrin bushing that I had custom made for the front part, which is the part you will see up here. This bushing, it's a factory rubber bushing. It's pretty soft, and that's the one that I switched out for Delrin, thinking that, you know, it'll help the crispness of the shift feel. But while it did that, it also created a ton of vibration and noise from the transmission. So I wasn't happy with that at all. So I ended up swapping that out, put the rubber bushing back in, and now it still has a tiny bit of harshness with the solid welded rod that we made. But overall, it's probably 90% better from what it was. And I'm gonna keep testing this out for a while and see if I like it. If I don't, or if I feel like it's making something worse or anything like that, then I will swap back in the original one that we had. All right, one other thing I did as well from when we did the secondary air pump delete is I ended up cutting down the bracket so it could be kind of the smallest, lightest size possible, just so I'd still be able to run this front engine cover. It's kind of looking weird without it sitting on there. So I've been trying to come up with different intake ideas if I wanted to change this up, but just with the space that's in the engine bay, mostly the clearance between the engine and the hood kind of limits the possibilities for ideas that I did have. I thought it would be cool to, if I did keep this gap, to run kind of a bigger filter inside of this area and then have a pipe coming straight down, maybe an oval pipe, but even that doesn't have clearance room with the hood. So the only option would be, you know, the dual intake style, kind of like you see from VRP or Needs Wings, or maybe a singular coming over to this side, but this side has, you know, a bunch of clutter on it itself. So I don't know, this airbox works fine, so I'm not gonna spend too much time trying to go through it. All right, so we got a bit distracted with some other jobs. I noticed that while I was driving, we were getting a few little clunking noises, and I was kind of looking around back here, and I noticed the clamp, one of the clamps on the exhaust right up here that connects the resonator was a little bit loose, so I tightened that. But then I also realized that this exchangeable or interchangeable exhaust setup that I have put together with the V-band right here, when the actual V-band clamp was on, it was rubbing up against this side of the axle, so you can see what it's supposed to look like. And this one's been ground down. I mean, it hasn't really taken much off, but it's definitely been skimming against it. So decided I'm gonna run it this way again. I know many people don't like that because they like the you guys like the square, or I mean the quad tips in the back, but I honestly don't mind it like this. It's 50 pounds lighter, it sounds a lot better, it probably flows a lot better because it's a straight 3-inch exit instead of, you know, going from like a 3-inch to a 2 1/4 and then moving all around. So I'm fine leaving it like this. I ran it like this for a long time before I threw it back on. So I think it looks fine. I think it looks kind of aggressive, unique. I was thinking about maybe getting some carbon fiber wrap or something to make this area kind of concealed, I guess, to just kind of, I don't want to chop it off or anything, but I can maybe just kind of blend it in if I throw some wrap onto that part. So I don't know, give me your thoughts on that. But now I'm gonna start trying to see what's involved with pulling the compressor. I watched one guy do it on YouTube with a CLK 500, which is basically the same layout, and he was able to get the compressor out from kind of behind the sway bar. If you loosen up the sway bar, you can get to all the bolts and then drop it down. So I'm gonna get everything taken apart underneath the belly pans, and then I'll have a look and see what the strategy would be, and we'll go from there. All right, so to be smart and not end up making a big mistake, before I pulled the compressor, I wanted to make sure that the belt fit fine, so I actually just threw that on there right now. Let's see if I can get a light down there for you. So if you can see, kind of, at the bottom right there, the belt is no longer looping around the AC compressor. And we just started it up. Everything's fine, nothing out of the ordinary, so should be fine. I'm debating whether or not I should drive around like this for a little while before I actually take everything out, just to make sure that it's not causing anything else. I know that on the ML55, the AC system is tied into the cooling fan, and if the AC is low or anything, or it's not working, then the cooling fan will not turn on properly. This system, I believe, works differently, so I don't think it's tied in. I think the fan operates independently off of the coolant temp, but I don't know. I think maybe to be smart, it would be good to drive it around like this for a little while before pulling everything apart. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the smart thing and try to drive it like this for a while before I try to take out the compressor. So I'll go ahead and give it a start for you guys so you can see it running fine without the AC compressor belted up. Here's the old belt, by the way. So the difference in part numbers of these, this one is, they're both Conitec belt or Continental. This is a 6PK 2380, and the one that I just put in is a 6PK 2311 or 10, I think. Let's see. 2310, yeah. So 4060910 and 6PK 2310. The 6 indicates a 6 rib belt, and then 91 is the inches, the length of the belt. And I forget the width is in one of these two, but anyways, that is a belt right there. Inspect at 60,000 miles, replace at 90,000. This is not very old, and also my tensioner and this pulley probably have less than 10,000 miles on them. These pulleys are always a good idea to look over, see if you see any cracking, because they are plastic and they can get brittle over time with the engine heat cycles and all those things. So definitely check these out. Super cheap item anyways. You can get the inner bearings or pulley for like $7 most places. So cheap insurance item and super easy to change out too. Besides that, before I start up, I noticed I definitely want to pull the fuel rail sometime soon and just go through those, clean them, put new seals on, because they're just, I mean, this whole engine needs a super bath. So I definitely want to do that sometime soon. So maybe that could be an upcoming video for us. And I have noticed this wasn't leaking too bad over here for a while, but it is definitely now leaking quite a bit. Hard to see on camera actually, but I don't know why it's not focusing down there, but yeah, down by the spark plug hole right there, that part of the gasket's wet, and none of the top parts. I know like the breather cover, we resealed it a while ago. That seems to be holding okay, but it's still tripping a little bit. And I did put new oil cooler gaskets in a little while ago, but it looks like some type of oil is collecting there. And I can't remember, to be honest. I might have put them in the ML55, actually. I can't remember if it was on this car or the ML55. I think it was this car, though, that I put the new gaskets in. So that's no good. But besides that, the little timing cover, that one seems to be pretty dry. And yeah, overall, this side is super dry, actually. And it's surprising because I've never done the valve cover gaskets on this car yet. So when I do, I actually heard from somebody that using the Mercedes RTV sealant works a lot better than using the gaskets. And that's actually what they switched to. They recommend that for the M272s and the 273s, which is like the updated M113, M112. Mercedes actually changed to use RTV on those valve covers. So that might be something I try when I go to do these. I know it will make it a little bit more tedious to take them off in the future, but I might not have to take them off much in the future if they're not leaking. So we'll see once I get there. Thoughts on that, comment down below. But yeah, overall, car's running good. But yeah, let me go ahead and do a quick startup for you so you can see the belt in action and just hear everything. The car's louder now because we took that back section of exhaust, so don't get scared if it's louder than before. What's going on, you guys? Back in the studio now. Just wanted to take a little bit to give you guys kind of a general channel update and go ahead and wrap up this video at the same time. So as you saw, we went ahead and bypassed the AC belts. I've been driving the car like that for a week and there's been no issues, so I'm absolutely ready now to pull out the compressor and the condenser once I get a chance to. And I'll also be looking at down the road of switching up the cooling system in general, maybe throwing in an all aluminum radiator, maybe Mishimoto or a CSF, and figuring out how I can simplify the cooling lines and things like that for even more organization throughout the engine bay. So other things you guys can be on the lookout for soon. This weekend, I'm planning to go see an M155 that's at a junkyard that I'm gonna try to pull a few miscellaneous parts off of. I'll probably make a video for it though, something different for the channel. There's a possible car that I'm thinking about going to look at, but it's iffy at best. And besides that, I'm in the process of hunting down the next kind of stage 2 for the manual swap, trying to make a decision on if I'm going to try to find a diesel single mass flywheel or go with the Rennsport kit of dual mass to single mass conversion with an upgraded clutch or some type of clutch from them as well. So I'm still kind of deciding. I had a company trying to make a flywheel for me in California. Shout out to California Custom Clutch, but it was just not cost efficient to be able to do so. But they did all they could and they were super helpful. So shout out to California Custom Clutch and Brandon. But yeah, I'm in the process of just figuring out what I want to do for stage 2. Now, I've also found out from a person I connected with that was sent to me by one of my subscribers. So shout out to Ian for that, sending me over. His name is Lister. He works for LL Enterprise, his own kind of AMG shop that he runs over on the East Coast. And he has a conversion kit that he put together that he was going to put in his CLS 55, but ended up not using it and is kind of selling the whole kit together. Has a crossfire trans that he found out you could use BMW shift linkage for. So that's a game changer as far as shift linkage and these kits, because as you know, that was one of the biggest holdups of doing the swap, was being able to find what Mercedes calls gear shift mechanisms, what we all know as like shift linkages for a mechanical manual transmission. So that opens up the doors. I told Jix about that. So I think he's gonna try it out because he has BMW parts laying all over from having an E36. So he's gonna test it out, and I'll be on the lookout for a spare trans that I can kind of test different things on. The single mass flywheel is out of a Sprinter, and I don't know exactly as a fitment. Supposedly the depth is too long. It's like 19 millimeters too long, but the kit is cheap enough that I feel like maybe ordering it and just testing it out and seeing if there's some type of modification that we can do to make it work. Because if I could figure it out, it would save a lot of cost for comparing to, you know, ordering a custom kit from Rensport or from anybody else. So trying to do what I can, trying to figure out what ways we can improve without breaking the bank, because what's working in the car right now is, you know, it's usable, it's fine, it's working fine. My only concerns is with the dual mass and tracking the car. I'm fully confident in the transmission's capability of holding the power. The clutch is even performing pretty well, but I'm not as confident in the dual mass flywheel holding up as long as possible. I mean, if it does break, it is lifetime warranty for MCP Euro, so I could keep, you know, changing it out, but that's not the most logical or efficient thing to do. So I'd much rather find a single mass that would work, either from Mercedes or if I have to from a manufacturer, which Rensport is really the only person or only company that's making a kit available right now. And there's other places that can do custom kits as well, but yeah, we'll see what I do. But anyways, that's about all for now. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update, let this video wrap up so we can get on to the next couple episodes. There should be 1 or 2 episodes coming up this weekend as well. This one will drop tonight. Besides that, we have some really exciting news coming up. It's very close, it's on its way here right now, but I can't really share until I have everything in hand. The contract is already signed, so if that gives you any hint as to what it might be, but yeah, exciting stuff coming up in regards to that I'll share soon, as well as a few other things. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys all on the next one. Peace.